Hello from Western New York. And as you can see, my mother mainly, who's been doing a little bit more digging and putting in more flower bulbs. And I might put in some more myself if it ever stops raining long enough for me to put in some more flower bulbs. Still got a lot. But today I'm going to talk about something a little bit serious. Yesterday morning, I woke up to basically a fusillade of gunshots. Now, I'm not living in a crime-ridden area or someplace where there's a lot of conflict or anything like that. But I tell you what is going on. Yesterday was the opening day of shotgun season for hunting deer. And basically every hunter and their brother got up at about 5 in the morning, walked out into the woods, found a nice spot, sat down, and then waited. And waited. And waited some more before finally a nice buck appeared about 100 feet in front of them. And then, boom! And it just followed up with another boom! 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 And more boom booms than I can possibly recreate. Because that deer came into the line of sight of every other hunter who saw, ooh, big deer! Boom, 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 boom! Needless to say, I got up a little early, and normally I like to sleep in on the weekends. But that brings to mind a very useful tip, very important lesson that you might want to know if you live out in the country like I do. And that is, know some basic safety for dealing with hunting season. First tip being, know where the hunters are going to be. Now, as you can clearly see, no hunter in their right mind is going to be standing in a field like this one. Because, let's face it, the deer can see them. So, they're going to be at least in the edges of the woods, waiting for the deer to get into a clear spot. And another thing in knowing where the hunters are going to be is to know which stretches of property hunters are most likely going to be. If, for instance, you've posted your land with no trespassing signs, odds are, if the hunter hasn't come to you and say, hey Mr. Smith, can me and my brother Bob and my cousin Joe come and hunt on your property, and they've been told they are not allowed to hunt on your property, odds are most of them will not be hunting on your property. Because, one, it'll be trespassing, which is a criminal offense, which could land them in a bit of trouble, which lands them in obvious trouble with the law and might cause them to lose their hunting license. And two, if they somehow ignore your no trespassing signs and manage to bag a deer on your property, that is poaching, which can cause them to lose their hunting privileges for a long time. So most hunters are going to at least respect your boundaries. I'm not saying that there aren't people that are going to don't. Well, there are people who don't follow the rules, and those guys go to prison most of the time. And But your average hunter, he's going to come to the landowner and say, hey, can I hunt on your property? And this is my brother, he'd also like to hunt on your property. And if they get a no, and if they are told no, they will not hunt on your property. And right here, this is what people are looking for. They're looking for deer tracks. Now, I got more than a few. There's at least one or two that like to come in around here. And I don't blame them. This is a nice little spot, you know, it's still nice and green. It's even got a little bit of shelter in a couple areas. You know, like I said, there's at least one, not two. I was surprised more than a few of them back in here. Just wish I had my camera with me during those times. But, like I said, there's at least one or two that like to bed down in here. Mainly because the grass is still nice and green. You know, this is what they're looking for. Yum, yum, yum. I think one or two of them, one probably bedded down right there. You know, they, well, they're looking for deer. Anyways, but, like I said, know where they are. Know where the hunters are going to be, most likely going to be. Now, like I said, now I got some people that hunt around here all over. And a lot of them are going to hunt down by the creek because nobody owns the creek due to the law. So, odds are, if I was to walk down the creek, this creek, I'd probably encounter more than a few guys wearing orange. They'd probably say hello, and I'd say hello. And that'll be it. Now, let's talk a little bit more about safety. During hunting season, your best bet to avoid an accident is to be seen or heard. This might mean talking to yourself. And, yeah, people talking to themselves, yeah, he's obviously cuckoo. On the other hand, it might actually save your life. Because, oh, somebody's talking. Obviously, not a deer. Also, be careful about what you wear. Wear something bright, like orange, or, God forbid, hot pink. Because there's no way a deer is going to be wearing hot pink. And, you know, and most of the time you can spot the hunters because I think most of them have to wear orange or some such color, at least when they're walking. Now when they're found a good spot, yeah, they might take off their orange. But like I said, but for the most part, you speak up, you know. I mean, okay, some people may think you're cuckoo for talking to yourself, but hey, hello, Mr. Hunter, nice to see you. And you go, hello, and you're gonna be fine. Now, for obvious safety, do not wear brown at all. Or, depending on your local hunting season, any color that the local prey animals, like turkey, are going to be wearing. This will reduce the odds of being in an accident. By standing out, odds are you're going to be safe. Of course, something else involved in safety is the time of the day. Like I mentioned, I woke up to a fusillade of gunshots. Deer are going to be active at dawn and dusk, and that is when most hunters are going to be in their spots waiting for the deer. And that is usually when some accidents can occur. But if you're smart, you'll wait until like noon or so, then you can go out. Most hunters have gone back home because they've either gotten the buck, the deer of the day, or they decided to call it a day. Now, like I said, location, what you're wearing, well, as well as the time of the day, and whether or not, those are some of the basics. Another thing is, are the hunters indeed on your property? Most of them, like I said, they have to ask you for permission to hunt on their property. Of course, if you got siblings that hunt and they use your, if you have friends or family that hunt and they use your property, make sure they at least let you know that, hey, look at me hunting. It's basic courtesy. Now, some people are against hunting. I understand it. I watch Bambi too. I watch Bambi myself, okay? But I understand why most people will hunt. And that is because, quite frankly, it can mean the difference between having some meat on the table or having to use some food stamps in order to put meat on the table. And to be honest, I've been through that sort of thing. And thus I can understand those that hunt for food. Personally, I take issues with the guys that just take the trophy antlers and leave the rest. That's where my issue is. But if they're bringing in the whole entire animal to use for meat, and they treat a nice pair of antlers as a bonus, I'm okay with that. What I don't like is the guys that brag about how big the buck was, but didn't even have a steak out of it. You know, I mean, if you don't like eating deer meat, don't go deer hunting. That's what I have to say. Or any of the other kind of hunting. If you don't like to eat the meat, what's the point in hunting? Because it's just a waste, in my opinion on that. But, like I said, if you do eat deer meat, or any of the other kind of animals that are indeed in season, and that's your reason to hunt, I'm okay with that. And as for you hunters, some of these tips can also apply to you. Make sure you're obvious to your fellow hunters. Make sure that you got permission to hunt on somebody else's property. And, you know, basically just follow the law. You know, it's pretty simple, really. Common courtesy and all that. Well, this is Western New York. Please subscribe if you like this. Post comments. Click the like button. Share this with your friends and all that sort of stuff. Well, goodbye.